Sometimes you're going to look at a situation and it's going to go against your opinion, and it's okay for two truths to exist at the same time. That's the thing I think a lot of people struggle with. It's like there are many situations in the world where there are two truths that exist at the same time.
You were saying you had a lot on your mind right now about moral issues around AI. Can you care to get more into it?
When being alive is like watching paint dry.
Well, comb, I was just napping. Do you need a comb? You look
If I comb my hair, it like looks fucking
I was going to
crazy.
say, you probably don't comb your hair because you have curly-ish hair.
You should have seen my hair when I was a kid. I had no idea how to like do anything with my hair when I was a kid. So it was just like this fucking ridiculous lion mane shit. And then I was like, oh, wait, I shouldn't shampoo and conditioner my hair every day. And I shouldn't comb it.
My hair isn't even remotely as curly as yours, but I still had the same problem. I was raised by a single dad, so I didn't know how to do any beauty related stuff. And when I was a little kid, like 8, 9, 10, my hair was pinned straight. And then when I went through puberty, it got like really wavy. So I would be like brushing it with this like thick ass brush, and it was just like every day like out to here, and I'm like, why don't the girls in school like me?
There were other reasons people didn't like me.
Okay, so here we are. It's been a while since I've done a podcast, so this is the Pranzata Podcast, episode 156. So on today's episode of the Pranzata Podcast, we have the lovely Jess. I got nervous. Pavlides? Yeah. Okay, take 2. We have the lovely Jess Pavlides, also known as Pecan Sandy as her musician name. She is a Philly-based musician. She writes her own songs. I've heard her perform at a local open mic that I go to. That's how I met her. And she is amazing. She might, if she's feeling up to it, she might perform a song for us on the podcast later today. But first, we're going to jump into some questions. And the bulk of today's episode is going to be about AI. So my first question for you, I've noticed that you've been on and off Instagram lately. Like sometimes you went on a trip to Greece, is that right?
Yeah, I went with my family. It's been a while since I've had the Instagram app on my phone for more than like 5 minutes at a time. Yeah. I just like recognize, and it's beyond AI too, but like the mental health stuff with using social media, but like with AI prevalence on social media, it just makes me like not want to be on it. But I still recognize social media as a digital photo book of your life. So, I still want to be able to document things, but I do not use it per se.
So what specifically, I mean, I could think of some things because I have my issues with Instagram as well, but what about Instagram over time made you feel like it was less worth it to keep it?
I think when you're on it, it's really hard not to look at things that just set you off, comment sections specifically overall. I'm someone who does not see the world or appreciate seeing the world in black and white terms, not in a racial way, and literally like a no nuance way. And people have no nuance on social media. Also, when you're talking to somebody and trying to have a discussion, it's like almost impossible to have a rational discussion, seeing people's sides of things, perspectives, like just the way people handle conversation on social media, or just like the intenseness of their energies. It's not real. People aren't genuine on social media, and it just affects me. And I used to even be one of those people. Like back in 2020, I had a pretty heavy social media presence. I had like a meme page that was also focused on, like Jewish education, to like be against anti-Semitism and stuff. And it was just like fucking hit so many angles of just idiots.
Okay. So for you, if I'm hearing you correctly, it's because everyone hates it for different reasons. Like for me, I struggled with like the comparing myself to other people's success type of stuff. But for you, you're saying it's more so the political, social elements of it.
Yeah, but even that too, like seeing somebody who's got like bigger tits than me and just being like, oh, those tits, like.
Okay. So you have been going on and off it. So what keeps driving you to come back on? Because it seems like you're teeter-tottering back and forth. What brings you back to it?
So being on it isn't really being on it. It's like literally download the app, post it, delete the app. I'm not scrolling. I'm not interacting, you know. I also have, you know, the music page on there. So if I have to promote a show or something like that, also another reason. But again, it's like, get on it, get in there, get it done, delete it. Like, you know, fucking SEAL Team 6, Osama bin Laden, dead.
They call that post and ghost. Post and ghost is a good strategy. Do you feel limited in terms of promoting your musical content by not being so active on it? How does that feel?
I don't really care about myself as a musician. So I think if I was trying to make a name for myself or get my stuff out there, that would definitely be difficult to do it that way. I feel like I'd have to have some kind of social media presence, but I don't care. I just play music for fun. So
honestly, that's a healthy way to do it. I don't know if I never told this to you, and I don't even know if I told like the people listening to my podcast or my regular listeners, but I went through a really long period where I was really resistant to adapt with technology. Obviously that's changed today, and we're going to get more into the details of AI and progressing technology. But from the ages of 23 and 29, I didn't have a smartphone. So I decided not to have a smartphone. I decided to get rid of Facebook. I didn't have an Instagram at all. I didn't have my first Instagram until I was 29. I'm 37 now. So actually, I'm getting older. So I've had it for almost 10 years now. When I turn 39, it'll be like 10 years on Instagram. But I didn't want to adapt with the times, didn't see the use in it, was very against it. Obviously things have gotten to a point where I couldn't continue down that path. Like I literally couldn't go to a restaurant and order food. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think that was the point. There was two things. One was I noticed I couldn't go to restaurants and order food anymore. They'd be like, download the app. And I'm like, I don't have a smartphone. I literally had a flip phone.
Which is crazy too. I mean, like I get it. Have your QR codes, but like keep a couple fucking menus in the back. For the peasants, you know, like
the other thing was I was trying to sublease an apartment and I couldn't like do it with that. Like everything was like I had an apartment. I was trying to move to a different place and I realized I remember I used to call friends on the phone and be like, hey, I'm bringing it back. Like, I'm trying to bring back like phone conversations. And they like kind of like were like weird. Like they were like, they didn't think it was cool. And I'm like, all right, no one's doing this with me. So I'm going to have to, progress. So I'm very much like understand the struggle of wanting to get away from the phone. I eventually got a smartphone and got social media. One, because I just felt like I couldn't keep up with society anymore. But two, because I wanted to take like promoting my podcast and promoting my music and all that type of stuff seriously. But there are times where I really miss just not being in it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally get it. I need a smartphone too, partially for the reasons that you're saying. It's just the modern day and age. My job, like I need a smartphone for my job to answer emails, whatever, check product availability on my phone and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I try to avoid as much usage on my phone as possible. Like it's for work stuff, for texting, Sudoku. Like that's it. I do have LinkedIn for like work reasons, and I honestly have to say LinkedIn is probably like the most positive, good for your mental health social media. It's all people just being like, yeah, you can do it.
I am not sponsored by them. I've said that on the podcast before, but there's this app called Opal, and I'm telling you and I'm telling the listeners, and I hope they sponsor me one day. That'd be cool. But it's an app that blocks. It's called Opal. You can block other apps on your phone, and you can program it to how many hours you're allowed to use social media. So I'm very strict. I have 3 times a day that I'm allowed to check messages on. The apps I have blocked are any social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, Tinder. I don't have Hinge anymore. I just have Tinder now, which is not what it sounds like. well, that's a whole nother conversation. Side note, everybody thinks Tinder is the sex app, but it's not. There's a lot of people on Tinder, but that's besides the point.
I found many drug dealers on Tinder.
What else did I block? Well, anyways, like a bunch of stuff that I find myself addicted to, Instagram, etc. I block, and I pay $20 a month for it, but it's well worth it. And you can't cheat. Like, so there's 3 different levels. There's like an easier level, and there's like an extreme level. And if you pick the extreme level and you pay the $20 a month, you get one free emergency pass per week. And sometimes I need it. Like if I'm like, fuck, okay, let's say you and I had this podcast scheduled and I didn't have your phone number. I only had you on Instagram. I'd be like, shit, I got to tell her that I'm running late, but I can't contact her because I don't have her phone number. Then you can use your emergency pass, but you get one emergency pass per week and that's it.
It's intense.
It's intense and it really works.
If you try to push it, it's like sends you a video of like a gun to one of your loved one's head. It's like, don't.
Okay, so transitioning more into the AI, we were chatting a little bit via text about this. You were saying you had a lot on your mind right now about moral issues around AI. Do you care to get more into it? And then we can just go from there.
What I was talking about was not, I mean, I guess there are probably other moral issues besides this one. This is a very, very specific conversation that me and my friend have, and we love whenever we hang out, we go to like bars and shoot pool, and we love to like bring it up with people to see just like their reaction to it. So porn, AI porn, like that's definitely like a thing. It's like been, coming out, whatever, I am not condoning this type of pornography in any way, shape, or form. I am not okay with it. It's a horrible, like disgusting thing that exists in the world. But child pornography, is AI child porn technically more ethical?
Wait. Can you just repeat the last sentence again?
Like, if child pornography is completely AI, like no children were fucked in the making of this porn, is that technically more ethical? Not that any version should exist, but if no children are being harmed and it's out there, is that technically the better child pornography to watch?
Okay, now there's a deeper question behind it. I feel like in our modern era, we've become very kink friendly. I feel like before I can answer that question, the first question would be, is it appropriate? Is it okay? Because we're very like, hey, no kink shaming. That's our society now. Is it okay? Is it morally ethical to have a child fetish if you don't act on it? And then if the answer is yes, then I do think that's more ethical. But I feel like I would have to know the answer to the first question before I answered the second question. So let's discuss that. Do you think it's morally ethical? I don't even know if ethical is the right word. Is it socially acceptable to have a child fetish if you never act on it?
I wouldn't say acceptable. I do think it's an illness, but I don't think that people with that illness should just be like shunned and killed and thrown in jail or whatever if they're not acting on it. Like I couldn't imagine having that problem where I'm attracted to children, and the people who have that and are actively like avoiding looking at child porn, like being around children, like whatever, like that must be so difficult for those people. It's not okay that they have those urges, but they can't help it. So I mean, like, I wouldn't say it's like morally acceptable that exists, but if people aren't acting on it, like they're morally on a higher ground than anybody that would even just look at child porn, not for pornography, and like not even be touching children. Like even those people like still need, like all people who suffer from pedophilia like need professional help, but the people who don't give in to their urges any way, shape, or form, I think are on a better moral path than the people that give in.
Okay, so with that, I don't know the answer to that question, but I've thought about both. So if I'm gonna ride your wave of what you're saying now, that no, it might not be morally acceptable, but it's still an illness, and these people should be treated with compassion. If that's the wave we're riding on in this conversation, then I might argue that AI child porn is not good, because it might actually be feeding their addiction worse. And yes, they won't act out, but I don't know. It's like on one hand, it might give them a safe space to like have the fantasy without acting it out, but on the other hand, it might actually feed the fantasy to make them want to actually act it out. And I don't know. It's hard to answer that. I feel like I would have to literally interview somebody with that issue, whatever you want to call it, with that sexual fantasy to find out. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good way of like phrasing it. And I do think if somebody who's like, no, that's like a real child getting harmed, I could never watch that, but they're like, well, well, it's like zeros and ones, so, you know, maybe that's not so bad. But then, yeah, you're like getting a taste of it. It's like, I used to be a heroin addict. I haven't done heroin in 10 years. If I like did one of those vapes that is technically like opioids vape that exists nowadays, like I probably be like, yeah, let me go find this fucking
It would probably
heroin,
just like open up the what is it, neural pathway. I always get, I don't know if the listeners are, you know, is it neural as in like with an AL or neuro pathway?
Neuro.
Is it neuro?
Yeah, I think it's neuro.
Listeners, is it neuro or neural? But anyways,
neurological, so I think maybe it is neural.
Whatever one, the brain pathway. I'll find out the answer later. The neural pathway. I feel like having like you said, like a little taste of what it feels like to exercise that fantasy might open up the mental pathway to want to act it out. I mean, this is going to make me sound like a psycho, but I feel like there's like so much documentation about women being interested in serial killers. So I'm no different than the other women who are interested in true crime. But I've like listened to a lot of serial killer documentaries and that sort of thing. And a lot of them say that a lot of their, how they ended up down that path started with pornography. So, I mean, if that's true for serial killers, that they would first watch like rape porn and that type of thing, and then it gave them the ambition to like act it out. That could also be true for people watching AI porn. You know?
No, I could definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Now,
again, it shouldn't exist. No form of child pornography should
This
exist.
is the child pornography podcast. No, but that's a bold thing to bring up in here. I'm glad we talked about it. We're getting right into it.
I thought you would be interested in this. I've only brought it up with like a couple people that I know, but again, it's like such a fun thing to ask like drunk strangers at a bar that just like hit them out of nowhere with it.
My automatic feeders are going off. So my cats may or may not come out for you. Oh, here they come. I have 2 kitty cats. They're coming out for they're cautiously coming out. They like people, but it takes them a minute to warm up, so don't be offended. But anyways, okay. So child pornography aside, before you made that statement, or before you asked me that question, you did back it up with, I don't condone AI porn, period. Well, now, aside, like just if it's regular porn, and I don't disagree with you, I'm just curious to see why.
Maybe I like phrased my wording wrong. Yeah. I don't think that like, you know, I have a problem with AI in general, not specifically like AI porn or anything like that. I mean, the only thing I have against AI porn is it sucks for sex workers who, you know, make their living off of OnlyFans and shit. Like, there's a lot of people affected by that, which sucks. But I mean, but it doesn't matter if it's AI. People are jacking off to cartoons, so you know.
So I had a thought about this, and this isn't even like a moral thought. It's just an observation. I think OnlyFans is an evolution to AI porn, because on OnlyFans, they're using a lot of photos and stuff. I mean, they're doing videos too, but I have a feeling they photo edit a lot of their photos.
Well, and also there is like a thing that has existed for a little while where OnlyFans models, it's their body and everything like that, but there's some program that AI changes their face. So it's not their face.
Yeah.
You know, so people without tattoos or whatever like that, who you can't recognize, like, unless you're like, oh, I've seen those tits before, like, you know.
So even though those models aren't making their living anymore, morals aside, I think that was like a natural evolution. I think porn on video to OnlyFans to AI porn was an evolution. And I think OnlyFans, because like you said, there's even Instagram, like girls are using different like selfie filters and that type of stuff. It's like we are kind of slowly merging with AI without even realizing it by doing those things. Like we are becoming these AI alien looking species. You know what I mean? So it's just really interesting that that's like, it's funny. I guess like you were saying before, one of your issues with Instagram or social media was the political conversations. I don't get terribly like I don't talk a lot about politics on Instagram. I just do that on my podcast. So I don't get a lot of that on Instagram. A lot of my issues with Instagram was like a lot of the fake artificial life, like the fake lives and the I don't want to say unrealistic well, yeah, unrealistic beauty standards, because like I can't compete with a filter, like a beauty filter, you know what I mean? So that was some of my issues with it. It's like, what is happening here? It's literally homogenizing women's faces. Like everybody wants to be Kim Kardashian now, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and especially if you're not keeping it in mind when you're looking at that, like, oh, this could be tailored to, be better suited for likes, or you don't we look at a lot of things in this world and we think like, oh, it was either this or that, but there's tends to be like 1,000 other probabilities that it could have been the reasoning behind. So yeah, people can fake their lives really easily, and people don't really necessarily know, like, were you in front of a green screen, like was this just an edited photo, like, all that. And I do think because people in this world, like, we have a lot of wants and desires and stuff like that, and it just like causes depression when you're seeing something you want that you can see other people have and you don't have it, which, like, you can do the same thing when you walk out on the street, but when you're scrolling past it like 1,000 times in a minute, that's obviously not good for the brain. We can only process so much at one time.
Yeah. Something you said before about you don't really know what someone's intentions are when they're posting. Like, they might just be doing it for more likes or attention. I realized when I was starting to build my YouTube channel that was a trap that a lot of creators fall into. Is they don't, not all of them, but a lot of them end up becoming a product of what the algorithm wants them to be, and it might not be an expression of their actual, for lack of a better word, like what's in their soul, like what their actual soul wants to express. A lot of that gets suppressed because, and I talked about on my podcast how I almost felt like sucked into this trap, because during the election, my podcast started getting a lot of views when I was talking about election, like political topics, and I'm not really that interested in politics. It just was on the forefront of my mind because there was an election. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to talk about this because that's what's going on right now. But I'm not a political podcaster. I'm into all kinds of ideas. And it was really obvious to me that if I played into the political commentator character, that my podcast would have continued to grow fast and fast. And I kind of had to halt and be like, wait, that's not who I am. That's not what I want to be. It's not that I don't like talking politics. It's just, it's not, but I don't want to be a political podcast. That's not what I want to do. So it's, I always wondered, like, how many people out there are successful on TikTok or YouTube or OnlyFans or anything like that, but that's not actually what they want to be and how they want to express themselves. And hey, all power to it. If you're like, hey, I'm in it for the money and I'm not in it to express myself, then I guess it doesn't matter. But I have a feeling a good chunk of those people who started out and like, hey, I'm a musician and I really want to show this side of my, myself musically, end up creating a genre of music that they don't even like just because it's getting them views. I don't know.
No, and that's absolutely true. And I think there's again, like, a lot of different people on the spectrum with this. Like, maybe they are just tailoring themselves online to be the way that their audience likes, so that way their audience keeps financing them, but in real life they're like, oh yeah, fuck those schmucks. But or there's people that went on and started this thing in one way, and because their audience would be like, hey, don't think that way, or they'll lose followers when they say something, they're like, oh, and then they change their personality because of that. I noticed it when I had a popular page back in the day, like, because I'm pretty centrist when it comes to politics. I lean left on some things, I lean right on others. When I would post an opinion, like, sometimes my following count would just go down, and then sometimes I would post an opinion where people would reshare it and I get a bunch of followers, and the next day they would drop when the people were like, oh, you're not like a leftist, like, you
don't fit into this box. I was actually talking about this with Shannon on one of the podcasts. It doesn't seem statistically possible for there to be two types of human beings with two opinions. It's like, hi, I'm, random person. I'm Sarah, and I am against vaccines. I'm pro-abortion. It's just like, it doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, there's that person and there's that person. And you're right. It has become a shame that social media, because of we're doing it for likes or validation or whatever, has caused, okay, I'm kind of ADDing right here, but here's a good example. I'm very critical of the medical industry, and so many of my friends who are on the left are, because they tell me, they have these conversations with me in private, but they don't say that publicly, because somehow now challenging the medical industry means like, oh, but that kind of relates to being anti-vaccine, so we can't say that now. And it's that's not good, because like I think it is a healthy thing to say, wait a second, do I need to take all these different medications? And that could be a separate conversation that's not related to the vaccines. You know what I mean? So, you know, to your point, it sucks that people are afraid to speak out what their actual opinions are because they're afraid of not following the script of what side of the aisle you're on.
Yeah, no, it's honestly insane how many people are just so afraid of like one of their opinions swaying them away from being like left or right. That's just not how humans work. We're such complex creatures. There's not A type person and B type. I might butcher this, but like Pascal's theorem of like God either is or isn't. Yeah. But then you talk to an array of scientists or anything. Well, there's also people that believe we're living in a simulation, and there's people that believe there's multiple gods and blah, 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 blah. And it's like there's so many. Mathematically, it does not make sense for, you know, there just to be a type A person and a type B person.
Exactly.
Even among like men and women. Like, like cis males and cis women are definitely like, we have biological differences that make us different, but not every woman is the same and not every man is the same. So you can't put men and women into boxes. You can have a Venn diagram with it, or like a multi-Venn diagram. Like, we're complex creatures.
I can't tell you how many times like I've scared some of my friends away by using the word God, and they're like, what God? Like because the word God now is associated. I use the word God because I do pray, but to me it doesn't mean religion. Like I'm not praying to a Catholic God. It's just not my thing. I just use the word God because I don't know what else to use. Like sometimes I'll say God, universe. Like I'll use those two words interchangeably because I don't know. Like I feel like if you've never thought about praying to an invisible God or the universe, like you must have a privileged life. Because like I was thinking this the other day too, like it's interesting how we have such a negative view of the word God, but some of the most socially the people who deal with poverty and stuff, like certain cultures, like the Hispanic culture, like the Black community, a lot of them are very involved like in the Christian church and stuff like that. And it's like, because when you live in like poverty, or you've had a lot of issues, you know, in your upbringing and stuff, it's like you've gotten to such a dark place where it's like, shit, there's got to be something helping me. So like I feel like it's almost like a privilege to be like, there's no such thing as God. It's like, well, maybe your life has never gotten bad enough that you've had to like pray to nothing. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling now, but
I think it makes me think of that Rick and Morty bit when like the collar thing with the multi-split universe, and like Rick's trying to dive after the collar. He's like, please God, please fucking God, please let me live. And he catches it and he fixes it. He's like, if there's no fucking God, fuck you. Like, you know.
Or I think I sometimes I repeat myself on this podcast, but there was did you ever see the Simpsons movie?
Yeah.
There was a scene where the people in the bar, the bar and the church were
they run out and they go
the bar and the church were next to each other, and some type of catastrophe was about to happen, like a boulder was about to knock everything over or something like that. And the people in the church ran into the bar, and the people in the bar ran into the church. It's kind of like it's the same stuff I wrote. But anyways, I kind of got on a side tangent there.
Well, and I actually I want to go back to something you brought up when you brought up like the the medical thing, and then being like, oh, this like goes against. And then it's actually me and Shannon had this conversation recently. He mentioned that there was that trans gun person that like committed some shooting. I'm not entirely sure which shooting it was, because there's like 5 shootings a minute. But then there's this whole argument of like trans gun rights and like trans people not being allowed to have guns. And then that just makes people who support trans tend to be more on the left, and people on the left tend to not also support guns. Now you're in this weird paradigm where it's like, oh, I want to support the trans person, but they have to have guns. But I don't like guns. So it's like, sometimes you're going to look at a situation and it's going to go against your opinion, and it's okay for 2 truths to exist at the same time. That's the thing I think a lot of people struggle with. It's like, there are many situations in the world where there are 2 truths that exist at the same time, and you can't just go with one truth. You have to recognize the whole situation.
You and I are we were talking about how we're both Jordan Jensen fans. So there's this awesome stand-up comedian, Jordan Jensen. She's just blowing up, by the way.
She's gotten so big so fast.
It literally just got the chills you saying that, because it kind of just like happened before my eyes. I saw one of her like 30-minute clips on YouTube, and now she has like a Netflix special coming. I'm like, what the fuck? And she just like interviewed Whitney. She just interviewed Whitney Cummings on her podcast, and Whitney Cummings is a huge like name in the comedy business. So I'm like, damn, she's blowing up. But anyways, she has a bit that kind of reminds me of this. Did you ever hear her bit about RFK and like the lesbians and the milk? Did you ever?
I don't think so. Because I haven't been on social media anymore.
Yeah.
I don't really see a lot of her content, unfortunately, which is like the one downside.
She has a bit about how the people on the left hate RFK because he's associated with Trump, but she says like the lesbians are like, ooh, but I do want the raw milk. Like she's just like, you have to see her do it, but because on whatever, you could probably find it on YouTube.
Yeah,
like, so you don't have to look at it on Instagram, but she like acts it out how they're like, but we do want that milk. Like, you know what I mean? But anyways, that's just another example of two truths, you know, being true at once. Like, with the medical industry, especially, like I said, I've had my fair share of issues with the medical industry that I've like talked about on my podcast. And I get some comments that are like, people on the left being like very critical of that because now it's like taboo to criticize the medical industry because that means, well, you're criticizing vaccines and, you know.
I'm sorry, but in the history of the world, the medical industry is 2 steps ahead of where it should be, and we realize so often like, oh, that was not right. Men of science used to believe that women's uteruses were not attached to anything in their bodies, but were creatures that would scamper around and could possibly come out and run away. Like, that's still being stupid about some things still exists in this modern day and age where we're so smart and we have so many advances and knowledge at our power. Like, we're still going to be wrong about things, you know? So we have to understand, like, and you have to test things out too. Like, maybe a vaccine could potentially be dangerous, but we also like have a base of information. Enough time has passed where we know the benefits of them, but we also have to recognize like maybe something could be wrong with one specific thing that somebody makes, and we have to pull that back. Like, how long is it going to be until we realize, oh shit, there's this major issue with Ozempic that like didn't notice because we didn't do trials long enough, like people's like bones disintegrating, because isn't that how it works? It like breaks down the molecular structure of fat in your body, and it's like, what else is that going to break down? You know?
I feel like with anything there's no shortcut. I mean, okay, sometimes there's situations where any potential negative side effects outweigh is a better situation than dealing with the problem. So for example, I have scoliosis. I thought about getting scoliosis surgery. But to get scoliosis surgery, because I've had chronic back pain, they have to rebuild your spine. Like, they have to literally break your spine apart and rebuild it and like fuse it to a rod. And they explained to me, they're like, that's going to also cause chronic back pain. The only reason somebody should get that surgery is because their spine is so compromised that it's crushing one of their organs that will kill them. Yeah. In that case, the negative side effects of the surgery will outweigh your current situation. So it's the same thing with Ozempic. It's like, okay, if someone's like really can't lose weight, like they've tried so many times and it's like, no, they're like 500 pounds. They're going to die next year. It's like, well, maybe their bones being crushed in 20 years is like, seriously, it sounds crazy, is a better situation than them dying next year. You know what I mean? Yeah. But other methods should be tried first. You know what I mean? Before they just like jump to that. There's something else I was going to say, but I lost my train of thought there too. We're talking about Ozempic. I don't know. I lost my train of thought there. What were we just saying before that? I feel like I'm on like such an ADD. We're talking about Ozempic. I'll edit this part out. I just totally lost my train of thought.
We're talking about medical things being like wrong, or like we don't really necessarily always know the truth behind certain medical things until
okay. I was gonna say something. I went to my doctor's once, and this was years ago. I was pretty young. I was like 19 at this time. And I just asked the doctor, I'm like, why do they call it practice? Because it's called like family practice. I'm like, what's that? Like, why do they call it practice? And they're like, oh, because it's an ever evolving practice. It's always changing. Mm-hmm. So that's like literally the doctors answered the question. It's like, yeah, what we know today is going to be different tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like in so many avenues of so many things. I love this podcast called The Weirdest Thing I Learned This Week. It's from PopSci, and a lot of what they talk about is, you know, stuff from medical history and stuff like that. I mean, humans used to think cannibalism treated things. Like we have
cannibalism.
Oh yeah. There's so many instances throughout human history of cannibalism being used as a medical means. Like one of the earliest ones is from Egyptian society. It's called mummified man. So basically, somebody would sacrifice themselves, like volunteers tribute. They would eat nothing but a diet of honey until like they were shitting and puking honey and like just die because you can't eat only honey. Then they would submerge their body into a vat of honey and wait 1,000 years and then crack it open, and that was basically like Dayquil to them.
Holy shit, did it work?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if you want to try it.
Where can we get it? Can we still get it? That is crazy. Yeah. Jesus Christ. And then other things too, like remember, what was where they would like drill holes into your brain while you were still awake? What the hell was that? Lobotomy?
Oh yeah, well I think I guess I always know lobotomy as like going up through the nose and like cracking an ice pick or something like that. But like that's where, I guess there's multiple ways of doing it, but still, yeah.
But yeah, like that was an evolving science and medicine.
That was to treat women's hysteria mostly.
Jesus Christ. Honestly, that sounds good right now because I've been having a lot of anxiety this week, to be quite honest. Like I would like someone to like drill my brain and shut it the fuck off. Yeah. Actually, that's a real thing. I don't know how you are with this, but lately I've been having these weird insomnia spells where, not insomnia where I can't sleep ever, but I'll fall asleep and then I'll wake up really alert at 3 a.m. And I'm like, what the hell? And I can't break the cycle. So I've been taking NyQuil, and I know you're not really supposed to do that, but I'm like, I got to do something. I'm trying to like retrain my body to sleep through the night. So I took NyQuil the other night, and I still woke up like alert, like on NyQuil, but like tired because I was on NyQuil, but just like up, like up like a zombie at 3 a.m. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I actually, going back to the AI or technology, I think it's the phone. I think I'm so stimulated all the time that my brain is like up in the middle of the night looking for a reward or something. It's like, where's my phone dopamine fix? Like it just won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And I try to make a habit too of like putting down my phone and like not touching it again for a little bit before I actually go to bed, because I did notice like if I was like just staring at the screen, so I was like, all right, like then I did not get as good a night's sleep. Then now I'm having issues where I'm dreaming so vividly that I don't feel like I got any sleep, because I just feel like I was just like awake in another reality. I told my hairdresser, I got a haircut the other day, and I was telling her about my insomnia spells, because that's what the hairdresser is there for. It's like a therapist pretty much. Like, and I was like, what should I do? Melatonin? And she's like, melatonin will give you such weird dreams that you'll wake up anyways, like, cause it'll scare the shit out of you. So I was like, she's crazy. I'll try it. So I tried melatonin, and she was right. I tried it last night actually, cause my sister slept over, and I know I would have trouble sleeping, like knowing there's someone in the house, like, cause I'm weird like that. And I was like, let me knock myself out with melatonin gummies, and woke up 3 a.m. with this like really vivid nightmare that I was getting sex trafficked with like a bunch of people in Kensington. I was just like, what the fuck? Like those aren't my everyday dreams. But it's actually really funny to me that melatonin is like so popular, because so our bodies naturally produce melatonin. Yeah. Melatonin is basically the thing that keeps you like dormant and like locked in when you're sleeping. So if you don't produce enough of it naturally, melatonin is a helpful thing to use. But when you produce the right amount or too much, like melatonin is not the reason why you're not sleeping well. Like you gotta find a different reason. But everybody, it's like, have you tried melatonin?
It does knock me out, but you're right, it probably knocks me out. It's not fixing the 3 a.m. wake up, it's just knocking me out more to start, but then I still wake up at 3 a.m. I don't know how to fix it. Maybe I gotta like spend a couple days away from my phone altogether or something like that, because I don't know how to fix it.
Well, it's also like we have so many things, like our brain is always shooting off signals, and even if I know everybody's different with how their conversations in their head work. Some people don't even have a conversation with themselves in their head, but even if you are the type of person that has a conversation with yourself in your head, or multiple people in your head,
I wish I was a person who didn't have anybody in my head. That sounds nice. That sounds really peaceful. Like just like an animal,
just like having like the monkey with the symbols in the head. That would be really nice. But I think you're having silent conversations too with yourself that you're not hearing, but it's like the brain is firing, like go. So whatever's triggering that, like if you can find the root cause of that, then maybe it helps you sleep better. But then that takes like a lot of like reflection on your life, and whatever, you need a shamanistic journey or something. I
need something. I was just looking this up actually, because I'm like, I wonder if nightmares are actually bad for you. We're going to get in a conversation about this in a second. Chat GPT, because that's another AI that I'm curious what your thoughts are on. I'm a fan. Chat GPT told me that nightmares can be good for you because they can release anxiety that you don't know how to release in your everyday life. So sometimes I'm having dreams about getting sex trafficked because I'm having some type of anxiety in my waking life that I don't know how to solve. So my dreams like express it, like it gets it out.
Yeah, no, I have done like some reading on, certain symbols in dreams that are commonly shared among people and their meaning behind them. One of the ones that happens to me a lot is just being like in my birthday suit, like butt ass naked in public. I'm at school, I'm at work, like whatever.
Yeah, a lot of people have that.
Yeah, and it's the feeling of not being prepared for something. So if you have something coming up that you don't feel like you're ready for or whatever, you're more likely to have that kind of dream.
Have you ever heard about Carl Jung, the psychologist?
The name sounds familiar, yeah.
So there's this psychologist. He's dead now, but he was like a Swedish psychologist around the Freud era. I think he was Freud's student.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And yeah, he studied from Freud, and then he ended up diverting from Freud's, like he kind of disagreed with Freud, and they got into like an argument. So now it's like, are you a Freud person, or kind of like the binary thinking, like you were saying, like the left and the right. It's like, are you a Freud psychologist or a Jung psychologist?
Do you want to fuck your mom or do you not?
Well, Jung didn't think about mom fucking. He was not into the mom fucking. But I want to fuck my mom. Where was I even going with this? Oh, so he has a theory that's really fascinating about like, why do we dream the same things in different, bodies? He believes that, he calls it the collective consciousness. And he says that the dream world is like all of our brains as one. Like it's, we're always like, what is consciousness? What is human consciousness? Are we all connected? He really believes that a lot of our psychology was alive in the dream world and in the fantasy world. So not only just dreams, but actually daytime fantasies too. Like ever like randomly just like having like, okay, for example, for me, I remember when I was little, not even little, like 19, this was before I was an active musician. I used to have these random fantasies about performing music for my boss at work. Like, and it was like I would imagine it like, oh, I'm going to play for him and he's going to be like, wow, you're the best. Like it was just like this. And it was probably my subconscious saying like, hey, I want to perform. And the boss is like somebody you want your respect from. So it was like, there were like these weird fantasies about like performing music for like the restaurant manager at Applebee's. Like, but like, to Carl Jung's like point, I think that's really interesting. But going back to what you said, it's really interesting that so many people have like the same dreams in different bodies. One that I have reoccurring that other people I've talked to have had too is your teeth are falling out. Do you ever get the teeth falling out?
I have not had that one, and I cannot remember what the reason is, but I did read about it. There's like other ones too, like a spider jumping on you is like another one. Yeah, and I think that one's just resembling of like being afraid of something that's approaching.
I think the teeth falling out is like being afraid of being seen vulnerable, like you're afraid of being like seen as who you are, which makes sense for me because I've always struggled with like despite it's weird that I do a podcast because I'm actually like terrified of intimacy. I really am. So it's like a fast it's
don't
like,
perceive me, you don't want to be perceived.
Yeah
or like seen like for who you are, whatever way of phrasing it.
It's I don't like being seen in a weakness or a vulnerable state. If I'm like hungry, I avoid people. Like it's weird. Like it's psychotic. I'll be like, oh my God, if I'm hungry, they're gonna know. Like it's just like, and I'm like, in reality, if I logically think about it, I'm like, yeah, like people are hungry, and I'm like, I can't have them know that I'm not okay. It's like I can't smoke weed around people. If I ever smoke weed, it has to be by myself because I'm like, they're gonna know I'm high. Like it's just this weird phobia of being seen in a vulnerable place. So I think the teeth thing is like, oh my God, you're seeing my flaws. You know what I mean? And it's not like I'm not afraid of like admitting I have flaws. It's just I don't know what it is. I've never like been to therapy. I've been to plenty of therapy, but I've never had a therapist like tell me the answer of like what that is all about.
I mean, I think it makes sense for a lot of people to be that way in like such a heavy social society where like you do one thing wrong and like never live it down kind of thing. Like, I think about like, I still carry with me shit I did as a kid that like embarrassed me and stuff like that. And I was like, so, like, oh, don't make those mistakes again. At this point, I'm just like, what the fuck ever. I don't really care. But it makes sense. Like that we don't necessarily like need to care what other people think,
Yeah.
but of course we're gonna like we have to be around all those people all the time, you know.
Yeah. It's like putting up an act, like having to be polite. Like it's like I don't know, like I'm an anxious person. I have a lot of like chronic health issues, so it's really exhausting for me to like always have to be like, okay, I don't want to be mean to this person, so I need to take my allergy. Like I told you when you came here, I'm like, I'm drugged up on allergy medication. Like I have to take my allergy medication, so I'm polite to this person. I don't come across as mean or rude or grumpy or I don't upset them or anything like that. And like sometimes I just want to like be a baby. Like I just want to be like, wah, like just like cry. And that's why, you know, to me, like this is going to sound not bad, but it's going to make me sound a certain way. Sex is an escape for me. I'm a very sexual person because I feel like it's the one place where I can just like scream and like take off my clothes. It's just like I like really value that intimacy because it's like I don't get that anywhere else.
No, I get that. I mean, like I very much enjoy like really primal sex, or it's just like, you know, just fucking go at it. And stuff,
it's such a release to just like scream and like hear the other person scream and grab and pull. You know what I mean? It's just like there's not that many places in my life where I feel like I could do that. Music, like if I perform music and I'm really into the performance, but even then I have performance anxiety with music specifically. So yeah, I don't know. But anyways, all that to say, I think the teeth dream is somehow a representation of that. It's like, shit, you're seen, like you're being seen without your teeth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah, absolutely. I wonder if I've had them in the past and I don't recall, been in like sales world 2 years and you like cannot as a salesperson like be afraid of how you're being perceived because you're literally never gonna like have a client if you're like constantly afraid of how the other person's thinking of you. You know, like I know I take a very like Philadelphia sports mentality approach to me as a salesperson. Like nobody likes us, we don't care. Like I know nobody wants to talk to me, but like they're gonna have to. So I think that's like part of the reason why I don't care as much as what I'm being perceived as, because there's a plethora of ways these people are probably perceiving me, but I still got to do my job. Yeah.
I'm so jealous of like people that are mentally insane to a point where they really don't care, where they're like just like screaming on the streets. I'm like, I wish I could I wish I could talk on my phone on speakerphone. Like I wish I could just like cause a scene. Like I don't know.
That makes me think, did you ever watch 30 Rock?
No.
Oh, I love 30 Rock, but there's like an episode where like Liz Lemon, which is Tina Fey character, like doesn't want like she wants to get her way and like wants whatever like thing, like the seat on the subway or whatever like that. So she starts dressing up like a crazy fucking like lady, like cat lady, and just like mumbling and like saying shit to people. But like she doesn't look like herself, so it's not like her, but like she does that just to get like the seat on the bus or the whatever person to leave her alone. And just,
it's like her, it's like her persona
in like this one episode. Yeah, it's like her alter. Like, oh, I could get away with this if I just like.
I need that. Yeah. That's what I need. I think that's why I'm drawn to comedy too, because comedians when they go on stage they just don't give a shit. I mean, like someone like Jordan Jensen, she's really, I mean, I've watched her podcast. She's also a very anxious person in her brain. Like, so she's not that, you know, different, but as in terms of like performance, she just like lets loose on her performances. She just like makes weird voices and like does all this stuff. And I'm like, I love that. Like it's comforting to me to be around that.
Yeah. No, she doesn't like restrain herself.
No.
Yeah. Especially some of the shit I heard her say.
Yeah. Do you know Steph Tolov, the comedian? She's like Greek looking. She's got like a voice like this.
Oh yeah. I know her.
I saw her yesterday with my sister in at Punchline, and she was really good. But she's another one that just like has this wild stage personality. It's just like nice to see.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you about, because we were talking about Chat GPT. How do you feel about that?
So I mean, Lily, AI is around. It's here. Like, it's not going anywhere. I think that utilizing something like GPT, like, it has its place in the world. But we're already so fucking stupid and lazy. Like, it's just going to make people so much stupider and lazier. And also, I'm fear for the job market, like, what it's going to do to that. I don't think... The way I view AI in general is kind of like... nuclear power. Like the first nuclear reactor that was built during the Manhattan Project when we were making nuclear weapons, which are obviously bad, but nuclear power plants are a cleaner source of energy than fossil fuels. So it's like it has its place in this world, but it could also be a very dangerous thing for this world.
Yeah, so my take on it is I think it's unfortunately or fortunately, whatever side you're on, it's unavoidable. I think it's just going to become a part of us no matter what. So I'm a ChatGPT fan because I actually feel like if I use it wisely, like just like if I'm able to have some self-control with Instagram, for example, using my Opal app to block it. So now I can post things at a certain time, post my podcast clips and just get the hell out of there. Helps grow my podcast. You know, I connect with some people in a way that I enjoy it, but I'm not hooked on it. So with ChatGPT, if I use it in a way that helps me educate myself, I find that it actually makes me smarter. So for example, I don't know, last year, I started having that's when my allergy issues started really bad and I couldn't figure out what it was. Like I went to the doctors, got tested for allergies and they're like, yeah, you're not allergic to anything except for dust mites. And I'm like, what the I wasn't allergic to cats. I wasn't allergic to pollen, but I got so bad that I was hospitalized at one point. I couldn't breathe and I was fainting. It got really, really bad. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I called my landlords in to look at my apartment and, I'm like, is there mold in here? They tested for mold, looked at everything, and they're like, we don't see anything. We don't know what's wrong. So I literally asked ChatGPT, I'm like, I smell a weird thing in my apartment. The landlords can't find it. This is what it smells like. And I just described it to ChatGPT and it was asking me more questions. It's check this, check that, check this. And then I was like, give me all the possible things. And lo and behold, it pointed me to check the pipe of the dryer and it was filled with mold. So my landlords couldn't find it. I'm like, I wouldn't have found that in a book. So I'm in those ways, it actually oh shit, I could have been just going hospitalized for years and years on end.
Yeah.
And I don't know how else I would have found that. I called the professionals. They were too dumb. So I feel in a way, yeah, we were too dumb to figure that out on our own. We needed a robot to figure it out for us. But it's but it also helped me. And it also taught me oh, now if I move in a future apartment, if that happens again, I know. So it didn't necessarily make me more dumb. It helped open my eyes and other health related stuff. I went to the doctors and I gave them my symptoms and they're like, have you seen a rabid raccoon? I'm just and I'm a rabid raccoon. They thought he literally pulled out his phone and typed the symptoms into WebMD and was like, have you seen a raccoon? And I'm just
yeah, most doctors are just Googling.
Yeah. I'm okay, if I'm going to go to the doctors and they're going to give me the most anxious response, I'm just going to do this shit myself. And I go on ChatGPT and it tells me try this vitamin, try that. If you're having this issue, try this. And I'm oh, I'm literally learning about human biology because my own doctor is WebMDing shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I think that's where it is good. It can be used for good. It can be used to benefit you, be smarter, to help save you a trip to the doctor, whatever.
Yeah.
We also have to remember though sometimes it is wrong too. Don't believe it as a complete truth. But I agree with what you're saying. That is the good application of it. The bad application of it is when children in school aren't even writing their own essays, or when people aren't even really doing their job. So here's a good example. It was a screenshot that I saw. Somebody didn't get a job, so they get the email back of the job rejection thing. And it was hi, Chris. Thank you for your application. You seem like a great person, but we're just going in a different direction. And then below that was the chat GPT, make sure that you use their name, address them this way. And they copied and pasted. Didn't delete
That's
the chat
embarrassing.
GPT. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it's we should still be thinking for ourselves when it comes to certain things, using it for that specific situation with the apartment. That's a good usage of it. That makes sense. But I think a lot of people are going to use it in a way there was a dude who wanted to kill himself and he used ChatGPT to write a suicide note.
Oh, right.
Which that's very sad. That's not saying that guy's dumb, but it's just
and the ChatGPT is programmed to be a cheerleader for you. So no matter what you say, it's going to it's gonna cheer you on.
South Park had a great episode about that in the new season.
Is it newer?
It's one of the
you were
newer
telling
ones,
me about this. Where can I get it? Hulu or what?
I think Hulu has it, or Paramount Plus or whatever.
I have to pay for some shit again. But I'm not paying. I'm budgeting right now, so I canceled all my subscriptions. But I should pay for that again because that sounds good.
Yeah, but Randy's using it, and it's I think that's a great idea, whatever. And Sharon's just it's fucking pandering to you, you know?
It does. It panders to me all the time. However, I did ask it to give me honest feedback once, and it did. I talk to it so much. I'm like, hey, you're always nice to me. Can you honestly tell me what I'm doing wrong? Like be honest. And it was like, you overthink everything. It was like you asked too many questions. Like it didn't say it like that. It said it nicely. It was like, sometimes, you know, while it's a blessing that you, I didn't say blessing, well, it's a gift of yours that you ask a lot of questions. Sometimes you overthink things that you don't need to like think too deeply about. I'm just like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah. But it could be good for that sounding board thing of like, you know, like especially like in this world where it's expensive to see a therapist, if you really just somebody to like bounce something off to, not even like looking for advice or anything like that, just be like, I need to speak my mind. Like, it can be good for that. My other issue with it is just like the environmental concerns with it, because it does take a lot of energy and water and everything like that. Oh yeah.
How does that work?
Because of like the AI, like I'm gonna like butcher the technical terms for it, but whatever, the processing centers, like they use water to like cool it down. So even just saying like thank you to Chat GPT is using like whatever, a gallon of water.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you have these people all over, and that's not even just Chat GPT. Like leaving emails in your inbox undeleted, unopened.
I have like thousands.
That's using water to.
What?
Yeah, because it's all in data centers, and those processors have to be cooled. So like, you know, human use of technology goes a little deeper than just like, you're not just wasting energy when your computer's plugged in, you're wasting energy, but just by having like an email inbox.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's crazy and layered. And like you as an individual person, you're not using that much, but the billions of people in the world using it, that's a lot of fucking water. What
about internet? Like the whatever the
internet,
like whatever's doing it, like the
I think so too. That's actually a good question. I don't know exactly like how much, if there is that like same data
like
processing
4G,
center.
whatever that is.
They're up to 5G now.
5G, God, 6G, what the fuck?
It must be though. Like all of this stuff, it doesn't come without some kind of cost.
I guess anything that exists uses energy. In some kind.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good to know. Now I will be consciously trying to use it less. I still use it a lot, but I did put ChatGPT on the app blocker because at first I didn't, and then I found I was just on my phone talking to it like all fucking day. I had a comedian on once, and I was telling him that it wrote me a sex novel. Not a novel, but like a chapter of a book, because I asked it, I was like, I have a crush on somebody. It was like my ex-boyfriend's roommate. It was like a situation like that. It's like, I have a crush on my ex-boyfriend's roommate. What do I do? Like, because I feel like this can cause a lot of drama, but I can't stop thinking about it. And then ChatGPT was like, would you like me to write an erotic story so you can live out the fantasy without acting it out? And I was like, yes. And it wrote it for me, and I masturbated to it. And I told that to my guest. By the way, we actually ended up having sex in real life. So that kind of goes back to our original statement about like, does the AI porn lead you to acting out the fantasy in real life? Well, it did in that case, but actually it was fine because we ended up doing it ethically. We told
no one was a child.
Yeah. We told my ex-boyfriend, we're like, hey, we're gonna have sex. Is this okay with you? He was like, sure. Yeah. I think he has a girlfriend now, so he can't hog. We broke up though. But anyways, I told that to the comedian on the podcast, and he was like, you're going to be one of the people who go extinct, because he's like, you're going to be one of the people fucking robots. Like, he's like, I can tell already. I'm like, no, I don't want to fuck the robots. He's like, you literally just jerked yourself to, or dwiddled your thing to an AI story. And I'm like, that is true. I did do that.
I mean, technically we've already been fucking robots. Like a vibrator is a robot.
True.
But it does concern me with, and I don't think it's something that would last in people too, but like AI girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, partners, like that's not good for people. Like maybe it's good if you're like a younger person who's never had a partner, and it kind of helps give you a feel of what like verbalizing in a relationship might be like. But like, that, I don't know, if you want love, like you should find another human being and not look for it in like something artificial, which I guess is easier for me to say than maybe somebody who doesn't have as easy a time finding people, to connect with.
I think young men are especially affected by it, because I've talked to a lot of young men in their like late 20s. Like a lot of young men lose their virginity now when they're like 25, which is to me
Nerds.
is late. What's that? Fucking nerds. But I think it's because of that reason, because they're so used, and it might not even just be porn. It just could be internet culture in general. Like they're playing video games and talking to their friends in the chat rooms on video games, and they're on Reddit forums and stuff like that. And it's a lot more awkward to talk to people in real life. So I think a lot of those guys, especially if they're like, you know, not naturally, girls are just flocking to them because they're so crazy good looking. You know what I mean? I think a lot of those like guys who don't stand out as much, they're terrified of approaching women in real life. So I think the internet could be a crutch for those reasons. Because like you said, while it could help them get out of their shell, it could also keep them from actually making moves in real life.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. I think it is like a complicated kind of thing. Like I feel like it maybe does have its purpose, but human interaction and connection is like so important too, that the more people are just like, and like, yeah, I don't love all human beings. I think a lot of people in this world suck, but like I think there's a lot of people that get into that mentality of everybody sucks, and they just like put themselves into like this isolation, and that's not good for people either. And even people in that isolation are still probably talking to things like ChatGPT, because we are social creatures. Like we need that kind of thing, you know? So good and bad with it, I guess.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely talking on the internet doesn't compare to the real life.
Yeah,
definitely doesn't.
No, not at all.
Yeah, especially like like I don't know, but then again, I know some people. I've dated guys in the past who were so addicted to video games in particular, and that's a tough one too, because as a woman, I want to criticize and be like you fucking loser, like get up. But then I've heard other perspectives being like, yeah, but life now is so difficult that it's better just to escape in a virtual reality, because that's what's happening anyways. But I don't know if I agree with that, but I've heard people say that perspective. It's just like, yeah, live this meaningless existence where I have to go out, work for minimum wage or something like really cheap, barely have enough time to like do anything relaxing. Like it's more fun to just like come home from work and be a fucking like riding a horse, like be like a knight and like fighting zombies. Like that's cooler. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I understand like why people would fall into that at the same time.
Yeah, I think it sucks, you know, to be in a society that we have all these issues like that, and like to feel like that's your only like escape from reality, when you should be able to enjoy your reality at the same time. But like, yeah, for some people, like it's also like, I can't afford to go out and do things, so what am I gonna do to entertain myself? That's entertainment right there. You know, I don't. The only reason I judge people when it comes to video games is people who like are so angry and playing video games all the time. It's the only time I'm going to be judgmental. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, just do you. That's more productive than what I do sometimes, which is rewatch the same show over and over again. I cannot tell you how many times I've watched American Dad. I can probably quote every episode, you know? Like if I put that into a lens with the person playing video games and me just rewatching the same show, the person playing the video game is doing something better than I am, because I'm just sitting there staring at a screen. They're at least using part of their brain. I
had a thought like that the other day. As much as I look at the people in Kensington, like, you know, they're on fentanyl and trank and whatnot, and, you know, the classic, like, they're leaned over type of thing. You know, I look at that and I'm like, wow, they're just zoned out. Like, they are just gone. But there was a time, like, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that I like had this thought, and I'm like, maybe I'm not actually that different, because I was ruminating about an ex-boyfriend, and I just remember being in my apartment, just kind of like frozen, like on my bed, like thinking about, or not even on my bed, like frozen, like literally stopped in the middle of the room, just like frozen, thinking about like memories from the past and getting angry. And then I like kind of like had like a wake up moment that I'm like, I'm not even like being that much different from then. I'm like existing in this reality in my brain that isn't like real life. Like I'm not even with that guy. Like we've been together 2 years ago. So like all that to say, I think we all have our forms of escaping what's happening now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You have to have an escape, honestly, even if it's not like the world, if there's just something specific happening in your life that you need to escape for. But I think that there's healthier forms for escaping for too. Like, I don't know, like I've been just trying to put more effort into like, okay, instead of like watching TV, just like read, or, you know, like practice your songs, or like I write short horror fiction, and like
that's cool.
Yeah, thanks. I haven't like really worked on this story in a long time, and I'm like, I just like fucking do it. Like what I'm I'm the only person getting in my way here from like doing this. And it's like, yeah, maybe it's easier for my brain and with like the weight of the world just to like stare at a wall, but like that's not good for me. Like you do have to kind of be like, okay, yeah, this is the reality. Things like shit sucks, but like just push past it and like, you know, find some things that, you know, make life worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's hard to really define like where the line is of like this is a healthy escape and this is an unhealthy escape. I guess it could be something that helps you grow in the bigger picture. Like so for example, if something like video games, even though it's an escape, if it's making you chronically angry or whatever, or if it's like making you physically unhealthy or like it's giving you headaches because you're staring at the screen, that, and I'm not saying this is the answer. I'm just like talking through it. Like, I wonder what the answer to that is. Maybe it's like if a certain escape, like obviously fentanyl is making those people sick. It's rotting their flesh away. So it's like, yeah, it's an escape. That's an extreme example of like something that's like physically killing them. But maybe something like a book, it's an escape, but then it's an escape that might inspire you to like grow as a human being. So maybe that could be the answer, or like something close to the answer, that the escape is the thing that's going to help you grow in your life and enrich your life and make it bigger. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it absolutely does. You know, like, yeah, reading is an escape, but like it's also using your brain and stuff like that. So there's more often going to be good that comes from that escape than bad that comes from it. Unless you're like the guy who shot John Lennon, then maybe don't read. Like, put down the book.
Or like me, I said earlier in the podcast that sex feels like an escape for me because it's like taking the mask off and just like putting all that away, showing my teethless teeth or whatever. That could be a bad escape if I'm like a sex addict to the point where I'm like having sex with people every day and like getting STD. Like, I guess it could get to that degree.
No, and I get that because I'm also a really sexual person. I'm not really like into hooking up with people the way I would. But when I was younger, like, I was such a fuck boy, dude. Like, I would have like one Tinder date and like be like, okay, and like go straight to the next one. Yeah. Like, and that wasn't. It was just using sex as an escape, though. It wasn't like, I like sex, but like at that point in my life, it was fully an escape. Yeah, I just want to clarify. When I say sex and escape for me, I was at that phase when I was in my 20s for sure, but now I don't mean it like that. Like I haven't had sex in a long time. Since I was with, the other guy I was dating a few months ago. And then before him, I didn't have sex in a long time either. So like right now I'm only having sex with people that I'm like in a partnership with, but that part of my life is like when it is happening is like really meaningful to me because it is a nice way to like escape. But I guess if it's not that, since I'm not in a relationship at the moment, probably playing piano is an escape for me because I do shut off like my anxious thoughts when I'm playing piano because I'm just like focused on the sound of the music and stuff like that. Yeah. No, I mean like I like to play Sudoku. Like that's an escape for me because I'm just using all my mental energy to like find the pattern and stuff. Which I feel like so old enjoying Sudoku. Like,
now I wonder what the dangerous point of Sudoku. So how do you pronounce it?
Okay, Sudoku.
Sudoku. Like when does it become a danger?
I do see numbers a lot. I'm just like, okay, there's a 6 here and there's a 6 here, so the 6 has to go there.
Do you see it here? Are there any numbers in the house?
The numbers in the room with us right now.
My grandma, she passed away. When she was alive, she had some type of OCD where she would count the colors like in the room. Like
I'm pretty sure I have undiagnosed OCD. I'm not going to like go out and say like, yeah, I definitely have OCD. It's not been diagnosed, but like from shit I've heard people who have diagnosed OCD, what they do, like, I tend to also do that where I like compartmentalize the colors, and it will like really bother me if like a color scheme should be like one place and it's not and stuff like that. And I like literally have to stop looking or else it will drive me insane.
It drives her. She's dead now, but when she was alive, she said it would drive her crazy. She said she would count the colors in the room and it would have to be an even number. And if she found an odd number, she'd be like, fuck, I need to find another color. Like she'd be like, orange, red. Okay, that's only 2. Black, no, it's 3. Like she'd have to like keep going, and if it was an odd color, it would like freak her out. I mean, she couldn't walk at this point, so maybe it was like a weird game she was playing because she couldn't walk. So she's like sitting there looking. The brain's just gonna find weird stuff to do no matter what.
I'm very observational. Like very things go unnoticed to me. Like if I watched that video experiment with people passing the ball, I would have saw the gorilla, and I would have counted the balls too, but I still would have saw the gorilla. But there's this beer deli place on Front Street, and their sign says cold beer.
Shit, hold on. We had a little tech issue. Pick up where you left off.
There's this like beer deli place on Front Street that has a sign that says cold beer. and all the letters are capitalized, but the L in cold is a beer bottle, so it's like a lowercase L, and that bothers the fucking shit out of me.
You're gonna go there in the middle of the night and like put an L.
Like a line to make it a full L.
Okay, so we've actually been chatting for an hour. That's hard to believe because it felt like it went by so fast. So that's usually where I end the podcast, about an hour in. Do you want to perform a song before you end? Are you feeling up for it? Okay, so we are going to have Pecan Sandy, that's her musician name. She's going to perform one of her originals. So give us a moment to set up and we will be right back.
So yeah, my musician name is Pecan Sandy. I wrote the song somewhat recently. It's called Watching Paint Dry. Counting the gaps in the words you wrote, changing the narrative to fill the holes, trying to take from what you know, but it feels hollow between the flesh and the bones. Cracking under the pressure you apply. It's the strain from forcing a lie. When being alive is like watching paint dry. There's just one thing that makes it go by. The room is haunted by shadows with lines that are hard to define. The bed sits there disturbed. The sheets are cold where you just were. Repeating the list and asking why. It makes less sense the more that you try. 'Cause being alive is like watching paint dry. There's just one thing that makes it alright. Thank you. And thanks for having me on.
That's Pecan Sandy, everybody. This is episode 156 of the Pranzata Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to hit subscribe to help me keep the momentum going here. And leave your comments below on the things we talked about. If you have any input on any of the conversations regarding AI, regarding AI. I don't know what the grammatical way to say that is, but comment below. Do you like ChatGPT? Are you feeling confident about AI? Doomsday about it?
What do you think about child pornography made by AI?
Child pornography made by AI, all that good stuff. And that's it. Have a good night, guys. Bye.